Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is Rah Rahmani with Conversations of the Conscious podcast. And guess what? I got a special guest, China Marie. How you doing, China?
I'm feeling amazing.
That's
I'm
good.
feeling great.
That's good. That's good. So I'm gonna go ahead and give the people a little bit about you and talk a little bit about who you are right now, okay? So let me introduce China to y'all. So China Marie is a dedicated Houston real estate agent specializing in multifamily and single family properties. As both an experienced investor and a licensed agent, she brings a unique perspective to every transaction, helping clients identify, purchase, and build properties that align with their financial and personal goals. Originally from Portland, Oregon, Marie now calls Houston home, where she has developed a deep understanding of the city's dynamic and ever-growing real estate market. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, a seasoned investor, or looking to build your dream home, China Marie is committed to guiding you through every step of the process with professionalism, integrity, insight, and her passion for real estate extends beyond sales. She actively invests in duplexes, multifamily properties herself, giving her firsthand experience in identifying profitable opportunities and maximize the returns. China Marie thrives on helping others achieve success in real estate, whether that means creating long term wealth through investments or finding the perfect place to call home. Wow, that's amazing.
That thank you. I'm
You welcome.
here.
You welcome. You welcome. You know,
Quite the welcome.
right, right. I had to give you the introduction because you deserve it, Queen. I mean, it makes sense because who's out here actually doing that? It takes a strong-minded, melanated woman to do something like this. So I think that's a very, very great thing to do, and I'm very happy to have you on the show.
I'm excited to be
Yeah, you got.
here.
You welcome. You welcome. So let's get into it, okay? Let me discuss your entrepreneur journey and your early influences. Tell me something about that. Like, what did you start with your journey in entrepreneurship? Was it always real estate?
No, it was music,
Okay.
right? So I've been doing music for a very long time. I started in LA, which is where I lived for about 10 years. And then just moving to New York, it was my way of being able to express myself. I also learned like management, marketing for sure, just getting in front of people, being vulnerable. So the way that I market myself in real estate is completely different than a lot of agents,
Mhm.
right? You're not going to go on my page to see a bunch of home or duplex tours. It's just not my thing. I really like to show more of a lifestyle. You're going to get who I am,
Okay.
right, as a person. And that's the service that I give. I give the hospitality.
Hmm. Okay, that's amazing. So from you telling me from the music up until now real estate.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Tell me something like what's one of the biggest celebrities that you got close to that you met?
My favorite is Too Short. I call him
Okay.
Todd, but he's my favorite.
Nice.
Just because I know people know him for his music when it's like, just extra music and
Mm,
stuff like that. But I love him when it comes to like his entrepreneurship, the businessman that he is. He taught me a lot about the music industry,
nice.
behind the scenes,
Mm,
right, and just the politics with it.
mm,
And that was a huge thing. It's not just so much in front of the camera, but I take those same lessons to me in real estate,
mm,
right? Because business is business, regardless of what business you're in.
mm.
And so being able to take what I've learned there and implement it here in real estate has really helped me excel very quickly than your average new agent.
That's cool. That's cool. So Too Short, that's crazy because Too Short actually I kind of grew up on him and listening to his music and a lot of people, the stuff he rap about, a lot of people don't know that he actually got that type of business mind frame, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. That's what's up.
He has fun music, of course.
It is fun.
That's fun music.
It's some
It's
grown folk
great.
music. That's some grown
It's
folk.
true. But he's a businessman and I've learned a lot about the business from him and I'm
Mm,
so appreciative.
that's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Okay, so how did you enter real estate, China? Like,
Honestly, I had moved here from Atlanta.
mm,
I did bottle service and bartending in the nightclubs out there.
mm,
And at that point, I was like, I need to implement my money somewhere else because at this point, it's kind of like you get so much cash at the end of the day that you can spend it very easily. And I think anybody in hospitality or service knows that. Being able to implement that into an LLC, I was making all my deposits through my LLC.
mm,
So that way I could buy a house out here.
mm,
And getting into real estate, when I saw what my agent was making when I purchased that house, I was like,
mm,
wait, well, you made a 5-figure check,
mm,
right? And so, knowing that I could do the same thing, but also I've always had a business mindset, even when I was doing music,
mm.
right? So when I got into real estate, I really wanted to building. Vanessa Cole was someone that I had watched the podcast that she had did, and
Nice.
she's really influential when it comes to like development and housing out here, community housing. And I was like, oh, I never thought about building. I always thought about like transactional, but I got my license and I've been able to excel very quickly, having 5 million in sales, no team leads. And, I'm just literally organically running it up.
Wow.
Right.
So she sparked your mind.
I was listening to her one day when I was walking around my subdivision. I was like, I happened to stumble upon it. And I was just like, wow, she was talking about how she was developing like 8 homes at once. And I was like, how does somebody do 8 homes at once? And how she was buying penny lots in Sunnyside and some of the up and gentrifying areas. And that just really sparked me when I was like, oh, I would love to develop. What does that look like outside of fix and flip? Fix and flip is great, but it's kind of not dying out, but it's a lot of people don't really want to buy resale. They want to buy new construction. They want all the bells and whistles, closing costs,
Right.
the new shiny, right? And so becoming a developer and becoming a builder is my prime focus. It's what I want to do. And I just love the business of it.
That's what's up. I'm gonna ask this question because I know a lot of young ladies are curious about this. Like, what age did your mind spark about getting into this? Like, what was your age around the time when you started really getting into real estate?
I just started 17 months ago.
Wow. Okay.
That was from getting my license. Like that was
Right.
when I got that piece of paper in my hand that said,
Right.
okay, you're licensed. I didn't really start practicing real estate until like 4 or 5 months into it.
Nice.
Right. I wasn't sure which brokerage I wanted or what that even looked like, a team. So I've gone through different brokerages. I've gone through different teams. I've gotten a chance to realize, do I want to do apartment locating? Do I want to do luxury? Do I want to do multifamily? Is that commercial? There's so many different avenues in real estate that as a new agent, you can kind of be pulled all over the place. But if you can refine it and say, what is it that I want out of real estate? It's a little bit easier to hone in on what direction. And for me, I enjoy being an agent, but I enjoy just when it comes to building. I like taking something from the dirt to building something from ground up and making it look beautiful.
Nice. Okay. So any age you can, well, I know you got to be like, what age you got to be to get in a real estate game?
18 years old.
Okay. So it's never too late. Like you could be 18, you could be 25, 30, just start whenever.
I think in general, it's like when you find something that you want to do, just do it. Like, why are we even talking about it? Right? Like you could be 6 years old and be like, hey, I just want to start doing whatever you want. As long as you have the passion, the drive, and the consistency, it doesn't matter what age you are, you can do anything you want. And that's
Totally
what
agree.
I've always had in my mind a long time ago.
I totally agree. 17 months, 5 million in sales. That's crazy, China.
Yeah, I'm very excited to that.
Yeah, that's like
teach you in that school, like when you're in real estate school, they're always like, the first year is going to be the worst. The second year, you might make one sale. And I was like, I hate that mindset. I hate that they say that your first year in real estate is your worst year. No, it was your worst year. Right? Like you're trying to put your insecurities on me. And that's something that I've learned from the music industry where people are like, oh, you're a new artist. That doesn't matter. You can do anything you put your mind to. And I'm a firm believer on that. But it's going to be a grind.
Yeah. So when you was in real estate school, was it hard passing that test?
I passed on my first time. But
Nice.
I tell you that when I went to it's like a little small cubicle. It's like when you go to get your driver's license, it's all uncomfortable. Right? So there was girls next to me, she was shaking, she was crying. She was like, it's like the third time. And I was just like, oh my God, I need all this energy to stop. Right. So I was just like, I have to pass my first time. Because if I don't pass my first time, I know that I'm going to psych myself out. Because I always see people in the class that have been there for like their third time, like, oh, I didn't pass, I'm back in the class. And I was like, do not sit by me. Like, I'm sitting in the front. Don't sit by me. I don't want none of your energy.
Right.
I'm passing the first time. And, I think when you put your heart in something and you put your mind to something and you don't leave a focus of it could go this way. No, it's going to go this way. You just have to believe. Even on those days where you're like, man, I don't know if nope. Change your mindset.
You got to change your mindset.
Change your mindset.
Because whatever you think, it shall be.
And it's subconscious thinking,
right?
And it's not just in real estate. When you subconsciously think about what you're doing, you're creating that. Whether you know it or not, you're creating. And that could be good or bad or indifferent.
Right.
So just constantly reminding myself and being my own hero, my own champion, my own support system. That's really, really important.
Really important. It's like this. If you can get up in the morning and you can tell your brain, I'm about to drive to this location. Why can't you just tell your brain, I'm going to sit in the front and I'm going to learn this and I'm going to pass the test? That's how powerful our minds is. That's how conscious we can be. That's why this is conversations. Well,
because that's the number one thing that everything you hear about real estate, even though when I was on YouTube, because I was like a YouTube university person, I'm going to learn everything from real estate on YouTube. And they're always like, the first year is the worst. And I'm like, that is horrible. what a horrible way to step into a new industry
Mhm,
or a new passion with thinking that the first 12 months are going to be horrible. You're not going to do anything,
mhm. Yeah, I
you
get
know?
that. Exactly. I get that. So, okay, let's get into this next question. What was the first time you realized real estate can be more just selling houses?
When I heard Vanessa Cole, honestly, when I heard that interview, it opened my mind to development. And you don't see a lot of women
Mhm,
in development.
mhm,
At least I hadn't at that time. Or being a builder, a contractor, a project manager. Those are not necessarily something that you always see in the forefront for women.
mhm,
And so that really was the most appealing thing to me. Where I was like, I love that.
mhm,
It kind of reminded me of how I built music. You
mhm,
start with the track and then you build it into a beautiful song.
mhm,
And that's kind of how I look at development. You
mhm,
buy a lot, you make it into a beautiful duplex or single family, and that's how my mind works.
mhm.
I love the ins and outs of it.
That's very empowering
Yeah.
because a lot of young ladies right now are looking for something. They're looking for something to look up to. They
Yeah.
probably going to school. They like, I want to be an entrepreneur, and they don't know where to turn and where to go. What's one tip that you would give an upcoming entrepreneur that's starting to get out there? She want to do something like real estate. What's one tip you would give them?
I think if is it just real estate or any type of
Real
entrepreneur?
estate.
Real estate.
Hmm.
I would say figure out which avenue you want to go. That's the biggest thing because when you wake up and just want to do real estate, so many different avenues. But if
Hmm.
you don't have exactly what you want to do, and it doesn't mean to stay there,
Hmm.
just start with something and become really great at that. Like I became a really great agent.
Got you.
Right. And what I like about me being an agent is I love my negotiation. I know
Hmm.
how to negotiate the hell out of a deal.
Hmm.
Right. I'm going to get any and everything for my client.
Hmm.
Right.
Hmm.
And so I love that part of it.
Hmm.
Right. I love sending that offer that's asking for everything
Hmm.
and being able to see what I get out of it.
Right. I got you. Now, I feel like self-awareness is one of the biggest things that a lot of entrepreneurs need to be aware about from themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They need to be self-aware. They need to be loving themselves. They got to get up and want it, like you said earlier when we talked. They got to get up and be strong, powerful, positive thinking. How do you feel about that? About self-awareness and spiritual alignment with yourself in order to become an entrepreneur? Because when you become an entrepreneur, this game is kind of cutthroat sometimes. You know, it can be cutthroat because when you get up, it's not like you clocking in,
Right.
right? You literally
You
have
are
to,
forever clocked in.
right. You
The
forever
clock don't
clock
stop.
exactly, and then you got to go get it. It's not somebody just paying you. You know what I mean? So what are your thoughts on that?
I think I could speak for myself. I allow myself to go through every emotion because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, I do this in the morning. This really gets me hyped. Maybe for a couple of days, but what about the days when you're not hyped? What about the days when you don't want to get out of bed? What about the days when the deal falls through last minute and you were really counting on that? Or, there's so many different variables. And so for me, it's allowing myself to go through the emotions, whether that's crying in my car and just breaking down on a Tuesday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I allow myself that vulnerability and then I pick myself up and I get back to work, or I celebrate my wins. On Instagram, I know 9 times out of 10, you guys see me popping some champagne, stand up of the house,
That's
stuff a flag on the car. I live my life. I have
right,
a great time at it, but
right,
I allow myself to go through every emotion. And when I'm exhausted, I take a little hour nap, wake back up. Let's go kill it again.
right.
If I need to get out of my head, let's go for a walk.
Hmm.
Let's go get some coffee. Let's come back at it.
Hmm.
So I'm very self aware because I was an artist. I'm still an artist, but I think when you have that musical background, you listen to yourself because that's how you make vulnerable music that people can relate to. And that's the beauty of music. For me, I'm very self aware and I know what I'm feeling and I know how to take care of myself mentally. That if it feels like too much, I'm not ever chasing the bag. I'm never chasing the deal. I'm always working on myself and I'm always a student. So I think staying self aware and taking some time for yourself is very important before you get burnt out.
Taking time for yourself, making sure you get enough
And it
rest.
can be something just small,
Right.
like just a little, let me go get some lunch, I'll put my phone away. Let me get a little wine or something.
A lot.
Whatever your vice is. But you have to have a good time doing whatever you're doing. If it's constantly just work, 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 and you're not enjoying yourself, you're going to burn yourself out,
Right.
you know?
Right.
And
I
then all
agree.
that hard work was for nothing.
I agree.
So, and it's good to have a good support system.
Right.
But even if it's just two people that remind you, like, that aren't yes men, that are like, hey, you're doing a lot now.
Hmm.
Slow down,
Hmm.
take some time and be thankful.
Hmm. One thing at a time sometimes too.
Yeah.
I'm a Capricorn, so I'm a workaholic.
Okay.
Right. You know what I
I'm a
mean?
Cancer.
Okay.
You
So
my water sign over here. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Exactly. Exactly. So you telling me what I need to hear right now on this podcast. Cause sometimes y'all I work too hard. Y'all. I just keep working. I keep working. And sometimes you gotta slow down, like you said, and take care of yourself in
Yeah.
order for you to keep going so you won't burn out,
I think that's the practice for me.
Right.
Most people need the practice of like, you got to get up, you got to stay
Right.
hard. But there's also people like us that constantly don't know when to put the computer down, don't know when to put the work down. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, you still scrolling like, all right, let me get a little bit more done, you know? So it's
Exactly.
like knowing your limit without crashing out first.
Right,
So
right, right.
important.
Now, are you the type to put yourself in a calendar, get your schedule together?
I try.
Yeah,
You
okay.
know, the best thing for me, like when we schedule this podcast, when I'm in that chair, 7 o'clock. You
Yeah.
know, like I gotta put it in there because my mind will get sidetracked and I just need to do it in that moment. So I don't live by my calendar. I probably should be better at it, but I just try to make sure that I'm on time for things and that I don't forget the important things.
All right. That's cool. So let's go on to this. I want to talk a little bit about let's talk about what does ownership mean to you beyond property?
Ownership is everything. And I learned that very early. It came to music. Everything reverts back to music for me, just because ownership in your masters and things of that nature, songwriting, all of that, you don't have ownership, then you're just always a one off. And when I mean a one off, it's like you could write a song for somebody to become a big hit and all they gave you was $10,000. And meanwhile, they're making millions for generations. So I think ownership is key, even in real estate. You know, sometimes when people buy duplexes, they're like, oh, why am I not cash flowing $5,000 per duplex? Okay, but you're building equity, right? In 2 years, you could have 30,000 equity or what have you, and take that 30,000 and go buy the next one. So sometimes people look at ownership like, oh, it's taking too long. No, it's a marathon. It takes time to build that ownership. But that's exactly why, you know, even when on teams as new agents, one of the teams that I was on, that person wanted essentially almost all my credit. And I can understand that from a mentor perspective, but you know, these are my leads and I'm bringing in this work. There's no way I'm allowing someone to take my credit for it and half of my money. That doesn't make any sense, right?
It don't.
But I understand that as a new agent, some people are like, oh, okay, they just don't know any better. But from real estate business, I don't let anybody take my credit, right? I give credit where it's due, right? And I give money where it's due, but we're not just going to take everything from me and then give me half the bread.
Right. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So I think teaching agents how to stand up for themselves and also how to be proactive is very important.
Would you say real estate is a cutthroat industry?
Yes.
It is.
Mhm.
Could you give us one cutthroat thing you've been through? Or what's just one thing? I just want to know one thing that hasn't happened to you.
Trying to get messy on the show.
I want everybody to know if they want to do real estate, ain't it a good thing for them to know what they're getting themselves to? Because I'm not going to say it's going to happen to them. But what gift that kind of situation does come about? You know what I mean? I just want one thing.
Yeah.
Just want to give me one thing, China.
A lot of things. No, I would just say that, you know, I would say doing deals with people sometimes can get tricky. When you do a deal with someone that's maybe close to you or someone that you're like, oh, we know we should come together on this, and recommend always getting it in writing.
Gotcha.
Sometimes when you're friends or your siblings or you feel like, oh, it's family, you don't think about like, oh, that person may do this or may go this way or may change things. And so always have something in writing and making it really clear from the beginning. So that way, when it does come to the end, there's nothing that's going to be changed, right? I just always believe in really good business. And for me, when anything like that happens, I will always take myself out of it. And if that means take myself off the credit, if that means take myself with no money, I'm okay with that, because integrity is the most important thing to me and will always be the most important thing to me.
Right. That's good. That's good. That's what I'm talking about, because good business is always having that integrity.
Absolutely.
And, you know, and that's what type of people I like doing business with, when you keep that integrity and
I
stuff.
think when you have that integrity and you just do good business just because, and your intentions are pure, regardless if it's real estate or not real estate, it speaks volume, right? People will never forget how you made them feel.
People will come back. They're going to refer
They would
people.
love to come back, but by then you've already shown all your colors. So
Yeah,
sometimes
exactly.
it's like, nah,
Yeah.
I holla.
Yeah. Nah, for real. For real.
You know?
Yeah. So what does equity mean in real estate?
Equity is pretty much like a savings account.
Okay.
That's how I like to explain it.
Okay.
It's pretty much a savings account. So let's say you got a home for $300,000, and then in a year, the houses next to you are going for $325,000, and they're the same house. That means that you have $25,000 equity. That means essentially like what you purchased is now more valuable today than it was a year ago.
Okay.
And then in between that difference of $300,000 and $325,000 is $25,000. You can take that equity out into something else, or you can sell it and gain that $25,000.
Okay. So you could take the $25K and you can invest it in something else if you want to, basically what you're saying.
Yes.
So hypothetically, I become a real estate agent.
Yeah.
I buy me a property for $300K, right? I fix it up a little bit, and then it becomes $325K, right? I'm able to take that $25K and invest it in something else. essentially, right?
Yes.
And get another property and kind of rinse and repeat like that.
Yes.
Okay.
It's exactly like the Burr method, which was like kind of when you're flipping homes, you
Mhm,
buy this, refinance this and this.
mhm,
Essentially that, the new construction.
mhm,
So you always want to try to buy it under the appraisal. Then the appraisal is the value of something when it
mhm.
comes to a home, the appraised value. When you're able to buy it under, you're able to gain more. It's like getting a really good deal on something, knowing that if you were to sell it today, it'd be worth a little bit more.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
So what would you do with that 25K?
Well, it would depend if it made sense to either keep it and continue to grow it,
Mm,
or if it made sense for me to take it out and put it towards something else. It would have to be a certain deal. It had to be the right deal.
mm.
And if it made sense.
Okay.
But you never really take your equity out just to take your equity out. It would be to like, hey, I can make some more money and flip it this way. So it would be more with intention rather than just take it out just to have 25,000.
I got you.
Yeah.
Are there any more vehicles that you would invest your money in that you can reinvest into another property? For instance, me, I do life insurance.
Okay.
So what I do is if I have 50K, I'll
Yeah.
put that 50K into a life insurance policy like an IUL. And so at that point, that IUL is making like 8, 9, 10% compound interest.
Right.
And then I borrow from that same thing tax free and
Right.
then go invest in a property or something like that.
Right.
So now the property is, like you said, making that money, making equity, and I pay the policy back slowly as I want.
I think you can do that, something like that, like essentially take the 25,000 or whatever it is and implement it into another industry that's making some money.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I think that has to be intentional. You have
Mhm.
to know what you're getting. If you take that money out, what are you making on top of that?
Yes.
So it just depends. It doesn't matter what industry, right?
Mhm.
You could be, a private money lender that somebody needs 25,000. They're going to give you 15% on
Mhm.
your money. It could be put in a high yield savings account where you make 4.5% a year in a compound interest. It's whatever you decide, but there has to be some sort of intention as to why you're taking it out.
You don't just want to take it out just to
Yeah,
take it
just
out.
like,
I got you. A lot of entrepreneurs need to know that stuff, especially if y'all just not getting into, this type of real
Yeah.
estate situation. That's really
Essentially,
good
it's
to
a
know.
savings account. So
Right.
imagine your savings account continuing to grow. But if they said, hey, if you take this out,
Mhm.
you can get a little bit more. And you can always put it back.
So in a nutshell, it's like really you should leave your equity alone
Correct.
and chill. So where do the money come in at? Like if you a real estate agent,
Yeah.
where does the money come in at? Because I know the equity is there, like you do that. So if you buy a home and you flip the home for you buy a home for 500K and you flip it or you do something with it and you double the money, that's where your money come in at. Am I right?
As an
Am I correct?
agent?
As an agent, yeah.
Well, as an agent, we get paid off the commission.
The commission, okay. For
Yes.
selling the home.
From
Okay.
selling the home.
Okay. Yeah, I hear that,
Or
right?
when someone buys a home, the average is about 3%.
Okay.
So we make 3%. If you were to buy it for 300,000, we make 3% of whatever the sales price is.
Oh, that's cool.
And so that's how I was able to save up for my first lot. That's why I got my license, because I don't have any building experience. I don't have project management experience. I don't have development experience.
Mhm.
So how could I add value if I was to partner with a builder?
Gotcha.
And that would be able to be list the property for zero, right? Meaning it saves 3% for the builder. They don't have to pay an agent. So coming in as an agent that's charging nothing. And then on top of that, coming in with capital, right? So that's what I'm bringing to the table. And then they bring their experience and their resources.
Nice.
Right. So I think it's just really figuring out what all needs to add to the puzzle and then figuring out what pieces you're going to add to it.
Okay. That's
right?
cool.
And that's the best way in any business.
Okay.
Right.
So if you sell $1 million home, you get 3% off of that. What is that, like 30K?
I'd have to look.
Okay. Yeah.
I'd have to look. I haven't sold $1 million property yet.
Okay.
But I'm on my way.
Yeah.
right?
Already. You already know.
But yes, it would be 3% of that.
Okay.
When you
Gotcha.
start getting a little higher into luxury, I've noticed that sometimes it's like 2%, just because sometimes the price points are so high, where you see like those, mansions, stuff like that, with like 30 million. Sometimes those agents are making like 2% just because the number is so high, and they're already leaving like a multiple 6-figure commission, right? So it kind of just depends, and it's something that they negotiate during their, their sales, their
Nice.
sales meeting.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Amazing. Okay. So let's get into this. Do you believe we manifest homes and investments the same way we manifest relationships or success?
I believe that we manifest homes, but I think that when I say manifest homes, I think that we just manifest our intention on something. And if it is a home, then yes. But I think that when you intend on something and you manifest something, it could be anything, not just a house or real estate. It's just kind of whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm. I think that's amazing because manifestation is very important. You wake up and you got to have a positive attitude about what you do as a real estate agent. When you get up in the morning, do you tell yourself like, hey, I'm going to sell your home today. I'm going to get this done today. I'm going to make sure that this is sold today. How do you do it?
I wake up and I'm like, I need the best outcome, right? Because sometimes we feel like, oh, I got to do this house or I got to sell this or get a buyer to do this. That is out of my control,
Okay.
right? And you'll frustrate yourself by trying to control what's not even in your control. If I've done the best I can do, that's all I can do. And I hope that it sells. I hope that that person buys, but I can't control that. So I don't wake up and say, buy a home, buy this. It's just like, I hope I wake up and I'm going to be great. This is the money that I want in my account. I want this in my account so that I can go and facilitate doing this. And the universe, God might bring you something in a different way,
Mhm.
right? So I think I more so ask for the end result rather than the to-do list,
Okay.
right? Because the to-do list seems to always change for me.
Mm.
And I'm okay as long as the result takes me through a different route, but
Mm.
I get to the same place that I wanted. Right.
Yeah, because I don't. It's like a headache trying to do that the other way.
It's frustrating.
Right.
You'll burn yourself out.
Right.
And then on top of that, you're also creating self-doubt because it's not going according to what you thought so vividly in
Mhm.
your mind. And that's what we call demoitis in music industry, where you listen to
Mm.
the demo so much that when you re-record, you can't see anything different because you're so caught up on that demo that you can't see what the finished product looks like. So I always try to revert things back to music for myself because that's how I learned. And that's how you excel in a new industry is you take what you've learned, for instance, whatever industry you've been in, you take that to podcasts. You explain to yourself the rhythms of it. And
I
that's
got
what
you.
I do.
I think that's an amazing thing for people to know before they get into this.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
I think it's very important for this conversation to be had, y'all. This is very conscious right here, and we giving it to y'all straight like that. So if you looking to get in real estate, this is the perfect podcast for you to check out because Miss China is dropping jewels.
I wish I had a podcast that was honest like this when I was getting in.
Yeah, it's conversations of the conscious. We're gonna be telling the truth. All right, so let's talk about this then, China. Now, real estate.
Mhm.
Trust, living trust. A lot of people think that trusts are just for the rich. You know what I
Right.
mean? So, how do you view living trust and real estate together? Do you think they go hand in hand?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I don't know a lot about trust, like trust, living wills, those kind of things, but I know that they play a really huge factor in it, right? Because I know that a lot of people, when their parents die or someone leaves them property, they think that they just instantly inherit it because they're the sibling or the whoever, but that's not the case. And then they're stuck with either these tax liens or they're stuck with capital gains tax and they don't have the money to even take over their family's home, which is horrible,
Mhm.
right? And so that's something that I wish I had more education on.
Mm.
I can't speak about it too much because I'm still learning myself, but I think that that's something that you could elaborate on for
Right.
sure. And I look forward to learning from you because I know that it does go hand in hand, especially, a lot of people have kids and they want to be able to leave something to them. That's
Mhm.
why they even buy these investment properties like duplexes. They want to be able to get a couple of them and leave them to their kids.
Mhm.
And so not just acquiring the property, but we always talk so much about managing it, maintaining it, having it through the right systems so that it can easily transfer over. People don't understand that or they
Right.
don't know to know that. And I'm still learning that as well.
Yeah, yeah. I want to kind of elaborate on that too, about this because
Yes, give us a gems.
right, it's important. It's important because you got probate. Probate is basically a court system.
Okay.
Let me just break it and be simple with this, y'all. It's either you're gonna be public or private. When you got a home, you can keep it in the public. That means that publicly, the government, something happened to you, they could take your house, they could put your house through probate. It's gonna take years for them to pass that down to your beneficiaries or to your children.
Mhm.
Or you could put it in the private, which is a trust. When you put it in the private, that stuff goes straight to your beneficiaries right away. So it avoids probate court, cuts out the middleman. Nobody's taking money from you or none of that stuff. That's
And is
why.
that done through an attorney?
Yes, it is done through an attorney.
A real estate attorney?
No, it's done through a trust attorney.
Trust
Okay.
attorney.
See, my job, I just educate and I guide,
Got it.
So I'm not an attorney.
I
I
learned
don't.
something.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
See how you ask, you shall receive.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. You want to get that done. You want to go through an attorney. So y'all, uh, real estate,
Mhm.
trust, hand in hand. I
Agree.
definitely agree. And so y'all want to make sure that y'all educate yourself on trust. Educate yourself on trust. I think is very important.
Absolutely. I agree with that. I think they go perfectly hand in hand.
Right, right. I would rather remain private. I want all my assets to remain private. I don't like
Absolutely.
nobody in my business.
I
What
agree.
about you?
I mean, I prefer it all go through an LLC,
Exactly.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times I have clients that'll come and be like, how can I put this duplex in my LLC? So that they're protecting their own personals as well. And they kind of just want them separately. Different
Separately.
tax write-offs come from different things.
Yeah.
So just being able to educate my clients, not on just like, hey, this is in a good neighborhood or you get $10,000 for closing costs. Educate my clients on the tax benefits, flood zones, HOA, everything, the school systems, resale value, projected rents, even if it's single family. I think that being well-rounded in your industry allows that sale to not feel so transactional. You're really just giving someone information.
So let me ask you this. If real estate were a relationship, what kind of partner would it be?
You're gonna have to elaborate on that. What's that mean? What
Okay.
kind of person would it be?
Okay. All right. So if real estate were a relationship, what kind of partner would it be? Okay. So like hypothetically, like um so I'm in the financial industry, okay?
Okay.
Um, I love the financial industry. It makes me sleep good at night. You know what I mean? It makes when I wake up, I'm excited to help other people. Sometimes I want to kiss the industry.
I
You know
know
what I'm
that's
saying?
right.
So, because if you look it up, the financial industry makes the most millionaires. You know what I mean?
Rich together.
Exactly. What kind of partner would it be to you? How do you feel when you wake up, lay in bed with real estate?
Real estate is like that best friend that tells you about yourself,
Mhm,
right? It's like that relationship where like it's your lover, but
mhm.
your friend,
Got you.
you know? And it's not a yes man.
Mhm.
It humbles you when you need to be humbled, but it also like cheers you on and congratulates you when you worked really, really hard and you didn't know if you were gonna make it. It's
Mhm.
that well balanced, healthy relationship. It's amazing. And then when it's bad, you're like, oh God, I hope I see my way to the top. Your heart's racing. So it's healthy. It's well
Okay.
balanced, but
Okay.
it's a challenge.
So when you wake up in the morning, you feel good about your job, basically what you do.
I feel great a lot of times, but sometimes I wake up and I feel sad or I feel insecure or I feel vulnerable or I feel like, oh,
Mhm.
am I gonna be great at this? Or
I
like, am
got
I
you.
doing a good job?
Mhm.
So I think that's anybody. If I'm
Mhm.
being really transparent, I don't wake up every day and feel like I'm killing it. Sometimes I don't feel that great. Sometimes I feel very down on myself. And then I'll get a couple calls and be like, yo, your Instagram's popping. And I'll be like, really? My deal just fell through. I'm over here feeling like I'm not doing a lot from someone else's perspective. They're like, yo, you're really killing it out here. Congrats. I think it's really about perception. I just keep moving. You just gotta
Right.
keep going. And you'll weed yourself out of that mode.
Right. I think that's what all relationships though. We
Yeah.
go through the ups and downs, the
You have
emotions.
to, relationship.
Mm.
And if you're not growing, that means you're sinking, so you gotta get out of that,
Right.
you know? So I think that, well-roundedness,
That's it.
right?
So if somebody try to dive into this game right here, what's another tip you'll give them when they first going into this game doing this?
I would say learn as much as you can, learn your product. When I first started, I'm still starting duplexes. I wanna know the ins and outs of it. I know what the projected rent is. I know from the low to the high. I know the tax rate in Sunnyside is 0.21. I know the school systems, the resale value, all the avenues in which you can use it for. You can do it by the room rental, which is like $1,000 if you have each bathroom with it. If it has no bathroom, you got to share a bathroom. I say 950, all utilities included. I know everything from Airbnb to essentially long-term, mid-term, medical nurses. I know the ins and outs of what I'm talking about.
Mm.
On top of that, I do it myself. So the house that I own, I house hack my own single family house.
Mm.
I rent out all 3 of the rooms upstairs,
Really?
50, all utilities included, and I've been doing it for 2.5 years. I don't just say, oh, you can do this with it. I actually do it. I know the ins and outs of it. I know what that looks like on a day-to-day basis. So I think that when you live it and you talk about it, people trust that a lot more
Mm.
rather than someone being like, I'm renting downtown at the Brava, but you're telling me how to rent a duplex.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
Or like you're telling me, oh, only 5,000 down, you can build your own duplex from ground up. Well, then why aren't you doing it? Don't
Right.
you got 5 racks? At the end of the day, I always think about that when it comes to sales. If it's such a great product, why are you not doing it? Right. So I am doing it. I do house hack
Mm.
and I am building. I do exactly what I sell, exactly what I tell people. I do it myself.
I was looking at your Instagram the other day actually, and I saw some of the stuff you was doing. You was like kind of looking at it was some type of I don't know what it was. Like you hit a hammer on some
Oh,
type of material. It was cool. I was like, what was that? Like,
Oh, yes. So that's where you're pretty much outlining the forms. You have to hammer in the sticks to be able to show the forms of where it's going to be laid for when
mhm,
the surveyor comes out. They know where to pour the dirt for the foundation of the duplex
got you.
or whatever you're putting in,
Mm,
right? So for my instance, duplex, it shows them where to drop the dirt
mm.
and where to put it in for the forms. So
Yeah, that's cool
it's called
because
grading. Yeah.
because that was like me looking at you in action. I'm like, man,
Right.
she really doing this stuff. This is the person I want to come to if I got any questions about real estate, anything that I want to know about the real estate game and building. That's why
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm sitting here talking to you right now.
I appreciate it. And I always tell people I'm still learning as well. I don't know everything when it comes to building or development. I'm learning as I go, but everything that I'm learning, I share it as I go. Mistakes that I make, I share those too.
Mm,
For instance, I didn't pass on the first underground plumbing. And when I say not pass, some people look at it like, oh, you didn't have the right contractors. No, we just didn't have the survey there when they came for the inspection.
mm,
That can fail you for
mm,
not having a piece of paper or not having the plans there. little things like that can make you feel. I'm learning as I go when it comes to that. But I think when you show people the process of you doing it, it builds trust, it builds community, and I would want to build with that person. So I always want to be the person that I would want to go talk to,
Mhm.
even if I don't have 15 years of experience or millions and millions in sales.
Mhm.
Okay, you're transparent and you're doing it,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, I got you.
So
I got you.
yeah.
So I want to unlock something with you, okay?
Ooh.
So now I'm gonna tell you one mental thing that unlocked me,
Okay.
um, to get me to unlock my mind, okay?
Okay.
Because a lot of people they trying to wake up, they trying to figure out themselves. They like, I'm trying to lead these vibes, and I
Hmm.
want you to tell me one mental thing about you that unlocked your mind and say, you know what? F it. I'm about to go ahead and start doing real estate. I'm about to start doing my own thing. Okay. So I'm gonna start with me. I was in an apartment one day. I got 3 kids. I got custody of my kids. I was thinking like I'm working these jobs. I'm not making enough money. We live in this apartment. We sleeping on lower mattress. I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I looked at my daughters. I had 2 daughters at the time. I got a son now. And I looked at my daughter's face. I was like, man, I gotta try something new. I have to. I have to get in here and figure something out. So I decided to start doing residential and commercial work.
Okay.
And so what happened was, I got a contract, right?
Right.
I lied to him. I told him, I was like, you know what? I know how to do this type of work, right? And
Mhm.
it was like, you know, I do electrical work. I say, I do. I know how to do it. I just created the company out of nowhere. I just went and got my LLC and I
I know
said,
that's
yeah,
right.
right. And they believed me. So I thought, right?
Mhm.
It was some really cool guys. They were from Ghana or something, right? So
Okay.
they got me a contract with CarMax. We started going around everywhere and we would literally mount GFIs. You know what GFIs are?
Good say.
So it's the stuff that you plug into the walls, like the
Okay.
sockets, those are
Oh
GFIs.
yes, the GFI. That's the
Yeah.
one with the button.
You know how you about to plug your vacuum up to the wall?
Yes.
That's the GFI.
Okay.
Yep. So
Okay.
I was installing those. I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew
What?
I was like,
Do you know how to install those?
I'm gonna tell you.
Okay.
So what I did was I found somebody who did. I was like, I don't know how to do it, but I'm about to find somebody. So I called my brother. My brother, he came through. He knew how to do electrical work, do that. So we went
Okay.
out there. We started making 20, 30K every other day.
What?
We was on the road. We was doing our thing. Later on down the line, because I was doing the work myself, this guy really helped me. That's what expanded my mind. He said, why are you out here doing the work yourself? You don't need to be doing this. You're a boss.
Here.
He said, you believed in yourself so much. I believed in you too. He said, hire some people, and from there, I just start scaling. I started being a bigger entrepreneur. And now I just delegate and I find people. If I don't know how to do something, I find somebody that does know how to do it and I'll put them on making money together.
I
So
love
that's
that.
my story when I first started my entrepreneurship journey.
I
So tell me about yours.
I would definitely say mine was after music. It just got to a point where it was so bubblegum.
Mhm,
After a while, the deals just weren't the same. The money wasn't the same.
mm,
I was just tired of working in the club,
mm,
to be honest, when it
mm,
came to bottle service. It was late nights and I was always hungover and intoxicated.
mm,
That's just what you do in nightlife. When I decided to move to Houston, I was like, I really need to, I'm not going to come out here and work in the club and be a bottle girl. I need to figure out something else that's sustainable that I can reach my full potential in. When I was looking at fix and flips and different things, I was looking at like 5 different things. It was like tech, doctor, lawyer, stocks, and then real estate. And those are the 5 main things where you really could get forward. The other 2 require school, so that was a no. Stocks, I was like, nah, I'm shit on that. Technical, I can barely work my iPhone,
mm,
so that's not gonna work for me.
mhm,
So I was like, real estate. And
right.
so just learning more about it and the ins and outs of it, I was like, this is something that I think I could really see myself doing where I wake up and it's different every day. I
Mm,
don't like waking up and it's the same thing every day. I don't do well with routine too much, right? And so that was an industry where I was like, okay, I can make millions if I want. I can also network. And I don't know a wealthy person that doesn't own a piece of real estate.
mm,
Right.
mhm,
And so that's what really sprung my interest on it. But honestly, my mom, I help my mom when it comes to just, some of her bills, and I want to be able to retire her.
mm,
I don't want to send a couple $100s or 1,000 here and there. I want to be able to be like, Mom, you good? Like, just do what you want to do. I think that's the biggest gift as a child to be able to give back to your parents is peace. Not so much the money, but just like, you've been doing this. If I'm tired at this age, I know she tired. I know you tired, girl. I think that would be the biggest success, the biggest reward for me. And so that's what really inspires my hustle a lot.
That's
So
what's
I wake up and I'm like, I got you,
mhm,
right? I just think providing the life that I told myself I would give myself,
mhm,
right? And also, I know people are watching me that are maybe younger than me or just from
mm,
music that are like, oh, how should you go from music to this? You can do anything you want to do,
mhm,
right? Make that decision and keep pushing forward.
mhm. Yeah, I agree with you.
I think inspiration to inspire somebody, I feel like is the human act of all time. You can look at somebody and be like, man, I want to do that. That's a beautiful thing because I know what it's like to be inspired by somebody, and I love that feeling.
Yeah, I love it too. And I love that you're here inspiring everybody on this show. This is very inspiring. It's a pleasure having you here talking about your story, what you do. I learned a lot. I'm learning a lot from you right now,
I
by
learned
the way.
about trust, though.
Yeah, yeah, a little something, something,
Gotta
it ain't.
put my house in the trust. About to go to probate.
So, yeah, well, you want to avoid probate for sure.
I don't want to.
You got time for
We're gonna get in after this.
So now we're in alignment. We talked about real estate. We talked about trust. We talk about wealth, the generational wealth. We talk about all of this stuff. I wanna I wanna get the people and end this with a bang, okay?
Okay.
I wanna give these people some jewels, and I want you to tell them basically why they should become a real estate agent, why you should invest in yourself and become an entrepreneur.
Yes. I wouldn't necessarily so much agent
Mhm,
because I got it into become an agent so I could get some more money to put towards my development and
mhm,
have it. It was an avenue of capital for me. But to get into real estate or whatever that you're looking to do, I would say do it because you're looking to get somewhere. You're
mhm,
looking to feel inspired when you wake up. And as an entrepreneur, regardless of what you do, just to be happy and proud of yourself, to know that you weren't where you were a year ago or 6 months ago. I think continuing to inspire is inevitable. And whatever you do, it's a good feeling. It comes to ups and downs, and that's like anything else. Getting around more people that do what you do is better because then you kind of see what challenges they go through so that when you get to them, you're like, okay, it's not just me.
I got you.
So I think that if you do want to do real estate, get around some real estate people,
Get around real estate
right?
people.
If
Yep.
you want to be an agent, get around some really good agents. If you see them on panels, go there. Don't be the person that just sits in the back and just listens to it. Hi, I'm China Marie. How are you? Yes, I've been watching you on
Don't
YouTube.
be afraid
Yeah,
to
go
get out
talk.
there.
I
Yeah.
see so many people that are like, oh, I go to events and then they just chill in the back lines,
Mhm.
like watching everybody else. Why?
It's fun to network.
I love that for me. I walk up and they're like, hello, I
Mhm,
have a ride. I'm so excited. I
mhm.
can't wait.
Do you agree that the money comes from the people, right? When you go network with people, you think, where's my money gonna come from? Where's my money gonna come from? Like the more people you meet, the more money attracts to you
I think
because
the more intent,
right.
you could be at home all day,
Mhm.
and maybe you're just a beast on social media and ads.
Right.
And
Okay.
that brings all your people,
Okay.
right? It's whatever your intention is,
I got you.
right? For me, I didn't know what avenue. I'm not from Houston. So I don't have that advantage of like, oh, my best friend wants to buy a house or my sister or my mom or any type of family, right? I didn't know anybody.
Mhm.
So going to open houses, having nobody show up multiple times and getting a couple people that end up wanting to buy, going to networking events, having the courage to walk and be like, hi, I'm trying to read. And people are like, oh, so how long you been in real estate? You're like 3 months. And they're like, oh, okay, next. You have to be so vulnerable with being not taken seriously. And I'm okay with that. Some people are so surprised. They're just so nervous
Mhm.
or they're so in their head about things that they don't actually start.
Mhm.
For me, with being in music and being an entertainer and getting on stages and performing, I don't have that insecurity of being able
Gotcha.
to walk up to somebody. I don't care if they sold whatever. Some people are so intimidated by the title of someone, like, oh, this person, can you believe they did this and this? Who cares? They're all still people. And I walk right up to you and introduce myself. There's no harm in that. At the end of the day, you might learn something, you might get a connect off that. And most people admire confidence, just like in your story. He knew you didn't have the experience, but your confidence is what sells it. So it's
Exactly.
not always about how long you've been doing something or how much experience you have in something. What's your intention? You intend to be great? So that's just how I feel
You
about
gotta
it.
want it.
Yeah.
You gotta want
And
it.
you got to show up instead of just one. You got to show up. It's like
Mm.
working out. You work out fat as hell. 3 weeks later, you still fat as hell and you still got to show up.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, you just got to keep showing up, just
Mhm.
got to keep being consistent. And
Mhm.
that's in any industry. Believe in yourself.
Consistency builds
Yeah, believe
character.
in
Yeah,
yourself.
believe in yourself.
We
I
don't have
got
a
you.
lot of time on this earth. So show up, be badass,
Mhm.
and keep it pushing.
And weather the storm, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not always going to be great, but just allow yourself to have those crying days. Allow yourself to feel those vulnerable feelings. It's a part of it.
Mm-hmm. I feel you. I feel you. I'm with you on that. And so that brings me to this right here. You keep so much energy, high energy, because I brought some fruit here, and I feel like that's a very good part of our nutritional diet when it comes to being entrepreneurs.
I agree. I mean, black seed oil, I really love ginger, turmeric,
Mhm.
anything that is a natural stimulation when it comes to energy and, just keeping the gut healthy. I'm all about it. But I've been having my eye on this. I'm not going to hold you. I was looking at it. I was like, okay, let's focus on the camera. Hold on. But yeah, We gonna try some?
Of course we are.
Okay,
So
what are we
I brought
trying?
it for you. I actually got something new.
Okay.
This right here is called an apple banana right here. I'm gonna grab it for you, okay?
Okay.
So this is one of the fruits that I wanted to get you to try. And I'm gonna break it down a little bit about the nutritional values. These are called apple bananas. They supposed to take like apples.
Okay.
Okay. So the benefits is improved digestion, health, heart health, and immune support. So it's rich in fiber, vitamins with antioxidants.
Here. You naming
Okay.
all the good stuff.
Okay, that's cool.
You
That's
Dr.
cool.
Sebi over here. That's right. Cheers to the banana.
Cheers to the bananas.
That tastes like apple.
Okay, now I want to give me some feedback how you feel about it. I want the truth now. Let's see what we got. It tastes like apple.
Yes and no. It's sweet. It's sweeter, but it has like a silkier texture than like the regular banana.
Mhm.
But I can see how they're getting the apple because now it has like the apple. Tastes like the apples that are dried.
Yeah, it do.
You know, like the dried apples that you eat, like the dehydrated ones.
Right.
That's what it tastes like.
Yeah, it tastes like a cider. It give me a cider
apple
taste.
cider. Right.
It's not bad. So y'all, this right here, excuse me if I'm smacking,
I know
but
I'm eating too. Look at my mouth.
this thing good.
Gritty one and gritty.
We getting a lot of good benefits. High in fiber, supports the heart health, low in calories, rich in potassium, good for digestion. B6 vitamins, provides energy and muscle support. Nice.
If only it was bigger.
Yeah.
Pause.
Yeah. So if y'all not eating your fruit, you need to be eating your fruit because this is how you stay healthy when you're an entrepreneur. You got to keep your mind sharp. Okay.
He said, sure.
You got to keep it sharp. No junk food. Try to eat less of that. It's a healthy balance. Too much of anything is bad for you, except for fruit and stuff that God provided for us on this earth. Okay. Well, thanks for that feedback.
Thank you for letting me try something new.
Yep, you're welcome. China, where can the viewers follow you?
Every one of my social media is going to be China Marie Invest, and that's with the S at the end.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Now, y'all, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And if real estate is for you, tap in with China. Go ahead, check China Marie out on all social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook. Tap in with her because she is the real estate guru. She gonna get you right. So you wanna stand in your power, right? You wanna
Absolutely.
build with purpose.
Yes.
I found this information, any type of value in it, go ahead and tap the like button, the share button, and follow me, okay? Because we want to make sure that y'all get this information again.
Yes.
Okay. So that's the reason why we're having this conversation, y'all. This conversation is of the conscious with special guest, Miss China Marie. Thank you
for
so
having
much.
me.
Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you for giving
course.
our guests this valuable information. It's such an amazing.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Pat.
Let's do it. So next time, until next time,
Until next time.
let's do it. Peace, y'all. Conversations of the conscious.